Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Organic Podcast. I'm your host, Reagan, and in today's episode, I'm going to be divulging everything I've learned in the past 6 days. No, it's been a week now. In the past week of me moving and coming to terms with a big fat lesson that I have clearly been trying to learn for a long time in my life, which is how to be chill, how to just slow the fuck down and be chill. Because I have just seen the full spectrum within myself of going so ham, trying to figure everything out, rushing around like a frantic fucking chicken with my head cut off, freaking out about everything during this moving process. Being like, I need to use every single spare every single spare minute of my time towards doing something productive so that I can get this apartment finished. When I know better than that, and it took me just going through a bit of a rough patch to realize it, to be able to understand. And naturally, as this podcast is built for, I am going to share this lesson with you because all this podcast is an accumulation of experience and wisdom that I have learned that I then wish to share with you guys so you don't make the same mistakes and you guys can live happier, healthier, and more freely as your most organic selves, maybe a little bit faster having this knowledge. So this is for anyone who finds themselves always worrying, always rushing, spazzing out, or maybe you're just a little more high-strung sometimes than you'd like to be, and you're like, wow, I just need to literally chill. I just need to chill. This one's for you. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Organic Podcast. I'm your host, Reagan, mechanical engineer, lifelong athlete, and recovered overachiever, here to empower you to pursue your highest potential and live freely as your happiest, most organic self. Every week, we'll dive into topics ranging from personal growth, mindset hacks, psychology, and a blend of science and spirituality to give you all the tools you need to stop living on autopilot and start creating a life of freedom, meaning, and fulfillment as your most organic self. If you're ready to become the best version of yourself, then let's plant those seeds and grow. Holy crap, you guys. Let's just take a moment of silence to honor the fact that this is the first ever episode I am recording in my new apartment. Oh, like I can hear the angels singing. My voice is still kind of echoey because I'm still moving stuff in, and I'm just like, this is literally so crazy. This is so surreal. It's such a wild experience, but I have this whole moving experience for the past week has just been a giant mirror reflecting back to me lessons I thought that I've gotten a lot better at, and habits, ways of thinking that I thought I'd been a little more advanced in, a little more evolved. And it's just shed light on some old wounds and some old habits of mine that are not ideal, all centered around this energy of urgency, of rushing, of not being present, of being over worried about things and overthinking and overly stressed out when I really don't need to be. Like, I really fucking don't. I really don't. And if you have been keeping up, you will have known about this move, and you will know that this is a very special, sacred thing. And like the way that I got this apartment is literally insane. If you haven't heard about it, I posted a YouTube video, so you can go check out my channel about that. It's literally insane though. Like, these stars aligned so perfectly. God literally handed this place to me. And it was the most perfect place. Literally, I could not have asked for anything better. Beyond what I ever thought was possible. And it was so seamless and so easy. Literally insane. But anyways, I have really been excited about moving here. I have been looking forward to this for so long. Just moving out in general, especially moving into such a dream, beautiful space that is like so peaceful, so safe, so homey. Like, oh my God, it's been beautiful. And I knew I've done work around mindset, around being a little more positive, around being less stressed out. Like, I've become way more self-aware around my habits and my mentality around things. So I knew going into this move that I wanted to kind of just enjoy the process as much as possible and try to not be so, like, you know what I mean? Like, take a step back, really appreciate it, really be present, like soak up every aspect of this, because I've been waiting for this for so long and it's finally here. And it just it feels incredible, and I just wanted to fully soak that in. Now, this is where my weaknesses come through, because if my past is indicative of my current state at all, I have had struggles with being super present, with, being really stressed out about things. And I get into these modes. Where it's like, once I start doing something, if I feel that something, like there's a list of things that need to get done, such as finishing the furnishing of this apartment, or just like checking off all the boxes of things that I need to buy and set up and make it all perfect so I can finally be like, feel fully settled in here, I get into these modes where I get sucked into it. It's like a vortex, and I cannot stop. And that's not very conducive to rest, to being present, to going through this process slowly and not rushing through it, and not just treating it like a giant adult to-do list to do things like buy bar stools or get a welcome mat or put up all my decorations or move things around or move more things from my house. Like, there's an endless list of things that I still need to do. But there's always going to be an endless list. And really the past couple days, I had a chat with my mentor. I've really sat in it and thought about it. And I'm like, there's no need for me to be rushing this much. There's not a single shred of need for me to be rushing this. Why the fuck am I freaking out about things? Why have I, for the past week, treated this as if it's like, oh my gosh, I need to get everything in here for me to feel settled? And here's the thing. I knew better going into this, like I said. So I was aware of this, and I really was trying to be intentional about like not freaking out, because I still felt pretty calm overall. Like, I still, like, feeling in my body was not that of like really, really high stress like I've felt in the past. Like, I know how that feels when I'm really worked up and I'm really limited in capacity. It doesn't feel like that as much. It just felt like exhaustion. Like, I was just so tired from constantly running around, like every day after work, immediately making trips out to stores, or like making trips to my apartment, building things, like setting things up, doing whatever, blah, blah, blah. It was like literally using every single spare minute I had to do things for this apartment. And the past couple of days, like I said, especially last night, I was really reflecting on it, and I'm like, I don't need to be acting like this. I do not. And I wanted to make an episode about this because it speaks to all of life. When you're someone who's super worried about like checking things off a to-do list or making sure everything's figured out, and you're just kind of like that type A personality who feels like you need to be a bit of a control freak, which like I kind of resonate with, and I'm trying to, resonate with less as I grow and evolve, but we're still human. But when you're that kind of person and you're always focused on what's next, what do I need to do? Like what to-do list item can I check off today? Like something needs to get done. What do I need to do? How do I make this time as productive as possible? You're not actually really enjoying your life, and you're not being present, and you're not just existing, and you're not experiencing joy or pleasure or embracing the actual present moment. You are constantly living in this altered state of consciousness that is outside of this moment. And this is a problem because when you make a habit out of this, you are never actually here and now. Like, even when whatever next thing comes, like, oh, what am I doing next with my time? What am I doing next? That next thing that comes, you're not even fully present there, because guess what? You're still thinking about, okay, well, what comes after that? And it's like this giant spiral and track that you can get on that is very easy to get sucked into, because I feel like you get a bit of an adrenaline rush from it. And when you start checking things off to-do lists, you also kind of get like probably little hits of dopamine or whatever, and your brain just wants to keep going and keep checking things off and keep doing it. But you like when I noticed myself spiraling like this, I was like, I have to take a step back. And that's the growth that I've had, is like realizing that I have the ability to take a step back, because past me had no fucking clue what was going on, and I was just like fucking floating on the ocean, like with no control over where I was going, like simply just going with the current of me just mindlessly like always being worried about the next thing to come. Or like with a move like this, I would have just been like spiraling and like really not been able to pull myself out of it. But it's just, it dilutes your life so much to always be worrying about something. It really does. And when you think about the energy of rushing, of urgency, of feeling like there's always something to do, always somewhere to be, always someone who needs me, that is like a complete lack of presence in your actual day-to-day life. And what makes life enjoyable is being present and enjoying the present moment. Like, your life is not comprised of these big things. Your life is ideally not comprised of a bunch of to-do lists. It is comprised of the feelings and emotions that you get to experience and embrace going through every single moment of your day-to-day life. Across the whole spectrum, like positive, negative, neutral emotions, everything. Like, you ideally, well, my vision of an ideal life is one where you can soak up every single moment of your existence and be fully present. And I feel like when you live fully present, fully here, and you're not worrying about what's to come or what's already happened in the past, that's when you actually get to like squeeze the most juice out of life. And that's when you don't have regrets, because I feel like you never regret living in the present moment and like loosening up on worrying about things sometimes. You always regret like, I shouldn't have worried this much, or I really didn't need to stress out that much about that thing. Whether it's future and something to come, or whether it's something that's already happened in the past. And this is not earth-shattering advice to say, don't focus on the future, don't focus on the past, only focus on the present, because that's the only moment that you have. Like, yes, we all know logically, yeah, makes sense. You should focus on the present moment and, just really embrace life as it comes. But when it comes to putting that into practice, it's a lot fucking harder. It's a lot harder to actually implement that. Because if you're someone like me, especially in like my college days or high school or before that, where you have a lot on, your schedule's really busy, you don't really have much time to squeeze in rest or periods of just time for yourself, it's easy to kind of get into these mental grooves and these loops of just always needing to be doing something, always needing to be productive, always needing to have something to check off a to-do list, and there's always something to worry about. This is a problem. And I feel like it's especially prevalent for women, in the sense of like, it's not like this doesn't happen to guys, but women, I know, we are more sensitive to stress. Like, on a biological level, we are more sensitive to stress, because if you think about it, in the caveman days, men went out and hunted. Like, their biological bodies are meant for the hunting, the providing, the protecting, and women were the ones who nurtured, on a very general sense. So no one take this out of fucking context, because you're gonna piss me off. But anyways, based on that biology and our biological roles from the caveman fucking days, again, do not take this out of context, we were not made for the fight or flight that comes from hunting in the woods. Like, men are more equipped for that because they are stronger. Like, they were made to go do that. So their systems evolved to handle more stress, to be able to handle more outside input without being sent into like this state of overwhelm, because it's just easier. They have more capacity. They legitimately have more capacity for stress. And women, I say that we're more sensitive to this, and that I feel like this is more of a problem for us from what I've seen, which could also be skewed by just like, the people I follow and the content that I see. But anyways, women get wrapped up into this like, okay, I have to be the one like doing everything, thinking about everything, figuring everything out. Like, I have to be a control freak and make sure that everything's done, because if I don't, then no one else will. And like, it's this stupid fucking little miss independent, girl boss queen, like slay kind of mentality. And like, this was me for so long, guys. This was me for so fucking long, being like strong, independent woman. Like, I don't need no man. No, don't help me. It reminds me of, this is so funny. It reminds me of a Theo Vaughn podcast that I listened to once, where he was talking about how he also is someone who like, rejects help. I feel like a lot of people struggle with this. And he was like, I could be in a 30-foot hole and there could be people at the top saying like, yo, you want a ladder, you want a rope? And he'd be like, nah, I'm good. No, I'm good. It's okay. I'm like, literally me for so long. But now I know it's not healthy. That's not healthy. That's not normal. We are not meant to be these little independent worker bees who are just like living through life, constantly stressed out and worrying about the next thing. Like, that's not what life is about. That's not what life is about. Life is not about rushing from one thing to the next. Because when you zoom out and think about it, what is actually worth rushing for? Do you really need to be rushing in most cases? Like, is there ever anything that serious that you really need to be fucking rushing on a regular basis? I'm gonna guess the odds are no. And if you do find yourself rushing a lot, you do have the ability and capacity to be able to prepare more or change that or leave earlier if you're someone who's like a little late, things like that. Rushing, urgency, and this energy of scarcity around time does not need to be a thing. It doesn't. And I don't know if it's helpful for me to just remind people of that, but it really does not. And I loop this back in with my apartment because do you know what feels so much better? It feels so much better for me the past couple nights to get home from work or log off of work and say to myself, I'm just gonna chill for a little bit. Like, yeah, I still need to get a welcome mat. I still need to grab things from my house. I still need to like deconstruct a whole chair to bring it to my house and like do all this stuff and get bar stools and all the things. All those things still need to be done. But guess what? They're not going anywhere. They are not going anywhere. And when you catch yourself rushing and freaking out about things, really good question to ask yourself that I've asked myself in the past 2 days. What is the return on investment of me putting so much time and energy into getting all of these things checked off my to-do list so I can say that they're done versus me acknowledging the to-do list, knowing I still have things to do, and deciding that can wait. Nothing is that urgent that I really need to do it right now, and you choose to have 30 minutes for yourself, and you choose to just read a book or take a nap or just fucking exist for 30 minutes. What has a higher return on investment? It is never, ever worth it to stress out so much about things that don't need to be stressed about. And I know that sounds so fucking dumb and obvious because, yeah, it is. But I am telling you this as someone who has stressed out so much. And I know exactly how it feels when you are stressed out and someone's like, just chill, everything's fine. You want to be like, literally fucking shut up, like shut up. It doesn't help. But as someone who, again, has experienced kind of both sides of the spectrum, and I have walked across the bridge, I'm currently walking across the bridge away from the stress, the overwhelm, especially with this apartment. I can tell you that freedom comes from actually just deciding, you know what? This really is not that important. It is not worth this much of my energy. And if you need a logical perspective on that, again, go back to the return on investment. Like, so much of your energy and your time and just your happiness of existing is taken away from always being stressed out, from always worrying about something, and from constantly being focused on what's next, what still needs to be done, what's happening, what's the fire that I need to put out. You lose so much of your life. And 99.9% of the time, the things that you're worrying about are not as important as you think they are, especially not in the long term, like a long-term scale of life, wider perspective. And you just lose. You will always lose so much more than you gain by being so stressed out, so worried, and constantly thinking about the next thing to come. So, how do we be more present? How do we kind of dissolve these patterns of urgency and rushing and of freaking the fuck out about everything and whatever? First step is awareness. Like I told you guys, this was how, like, I would not know any of this stuff. I would not know better if I did not know better. Like, I needed to learn about this. I needed to listen to people talk about, like, stress addiction and these habits and these patterns and, like, just have a general sense of self-awareness of the mindset that you have around constantly needing to be doing something and your relationship with urgency. And also with presence, like if you are lacking presence in your life, but you don't even realize it, you can't change it. So awareness around how you're acting on a general basis is huge. That's the first step. Once you're aware, if you're someone like me who became aware, wow, I'm really rushing for no reason right now, like, what can I do about it? You literally just zoom out your perspective and ask yourself, is this really that serious? Is buying two bar stools from Home Goods right now really that important over me recharging my own battery and having a night to myself, knowing that things will still get done when they have to? Like, the time that you take for yourself, the time that you invest in being present is always going to return back to you, like, literally tenfold. The return on investment is always going to be massive, because when we are present, when we give ourselves time to have self-care, to nurture ourselves, to just literally exist without this pressure to do anything, it heals you. It helps you. It allows you to be feeling and in your body, and rather than being in your head thinking, like, just constantly go, go, go. Because when you're in your head, most of the time, it's harder to access a state of pleasure and enjoyment and actually just embracing life, which is what we are supposed to be doing. Like, life is not supposed to be miserable. Life is not supposed to be constant stress, constant worrying, constantly feeling like we need to be doing something. We are made to exist, and the things that we do ideally are made to create and build and help bring more stability and joy and happiness into your life. And if something is off balance there, that is when we get, anxious, miserable, feel out of alignment, like feeling bitter towards things. That's when you know that, like, something is in need of attention in the way that you are going about your life. This is what got me on my fucking journey, guys. This is what got me healed. I'm not healed. Like, no one's ever going to be fucking healed. But it is what allowed me to get out of these unhealthy spirals that was taking away so much of my life. Like, so it was diluting my quality of life so much. And I still had a good life, but, like, there's always more happiness to experience. There's always more joy. And the best parts of life happen when we are not worrying, when we are not thinking about something to do. And like, it's going to be worth it every single time. Presence beats urgency and rushing every single time. And you could even be doing things that you still need to do and just be fully present. It's more this extra external worrying about things that are outside of your control, such as, things from the past or even things in the future that really aren't that important. That sense of worrying and putting all your energy towards that is what takes away from your life and, like, the stores of energy that actually allow you to exist in joy, in peace, in abundance, and live freely as your most organic self. A really funny story too. Literally yesterday morning, I was, like, kind of rushing a bit because I was kind of rushing a bit, and I was kind of worried because I, like, knew I was taking breakfast on the go already, and I was just, I don't know, it was a bit hectic. And as I said, I've become way more self-aware. So I was telling myself, I was like, just breathe. We're good. It's fine. We're not going to be late. Like, everything's fine. This is not that serious. And as I was telling myself this, I took a grocery bag from my house, like one of my mom's, and I literally just happened to see and notice this grocery bag perfectly leaning against my wall. And literally it says in giant letters, just chill. Just chill. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck. You're right, Stop and Shop. I do need to just chill. Like, I don't know. It just made me laugh. So I guess that's the overall theme of this podcast episode, is to just chill. Because my stressed out girlies, my stressed out queens, what the fuck am I saying? My stressed out girlies, my stressed out queens or kings, it's never worth it. You really don't need to be that stressed. Life is not that serious. The things you're worrying about are probably not that serious. And if they feel that serious right now, zoom out in 10 years, 20 years, and ask yourself, is it really that serious? And even if that stresses you out, zoom out to the whole scale of our entire galaxy, our entire universe, the multiverse, everything beyond our human comprehension in terms of how large the space in which we exist is. And then ask yourself, is it really that serious? Anyways, all right. I love you guys. I hope this episode reminds you to be more present and less stressed out and stop worrying and just enjoy and embrace every single human moment that you get to exist here on this planet, because it is beautiful, even the highs and the lows. And you don't get to experience it if you're constantly worried about something else that's coming. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Very first episode in my apartment. I'm still feeling a little drained. I've gotten very little sleep over the past week. So yeah, we're just freaking getting through it. But I'm a little better than I was 2 days ago. So we're chilling. And I will keep you guys updated. I plan to do, once this place is actually finished to my satisfaction, I will do a tour potentially, or a vlog. I've been posting some behind the scenes on my Instagram, so you can check that out if I'm still posting it at the time that you're listening to this. And thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I hope you got something out of it. And I'm just really excited for this next chapter of my life and to take you guys along with me. So thank you for being here. And with that, go be your most organic selves, and I will see you in the next one.